Coming of Roman civilization has brought the many contributions that led to the human society, and that contribution reached to the world's development. There is a saying which called "All roads lead to Rome." As to the facts of Rome's contribution to modern society, they made countless contributions to us in virtually all the fields. Today, we use some of the inventions and innovations. The main ones include Christianity. Rome allowed Christianity to spread and flourish in her empire. Ideas about the faith spread easily in spite of persecution from some rulers and even citizens. Today, Christianity is one of the major world religions. We owe it partly to some Roman emperors. The same can be said on monotheism. Example, Emperor Constantine made Christianity regal, thus elevating it above the other religions. This gave it an upper hand. Rome thus helped spread Christianity to other parts of the world. The second is government. Representative democracy was reflected in the Roman republican system. Senators represented groups of people, thus bringing an element of democracy. The people's representation injected some checks and balance in the governance process. Power was distributed and not concentrated in one office. So the following is the architecture. Architecture is one field in which the Romans made great strides in. Their knowledge and skills have been acquired in the modern world. The architectural styles were evident in use of improved arcs and columns of the Greeks, the rounded domes, sculptures, frescoes, and mosaics. They also used the concrete, mortar, and cement. This enabled them to develop some structures which have withstood the test of time, such as the Parthenon and the Colosseum. In the architectural work, we are able to witness symbols of their power and creativity in mixing materials and creating masterpieces using new building techniques for visual effect and structure enforcement. Roman engineering skills were also evident in the construction of aqueducts. These structures were made across rivers and included large networks of underground channels which supplied water to cities and valleys. Later, through aqueducts, households benefited from indoor plumbing and the efficient sewer system. Central heating or hot baths were also spread by the Romans, even though they were not inventors. Today, all the innovations of Romans have made our life easy. Buildings, bridges, and harbors and pipeline transport for water are in use in virtually every part of the world. The Roman architectural styles have also been copied in many parts of the world. Example, the US Capitol building, the Lincoln Memorial, and most state capitals in the USA. So the following is entertainment. Our idea for mass entertainment came from the Romans. People were entertained in the Forum and in the Colosseum. Rome's amphitheater, which had a capacity of accommodating 600,000 persons. Games were played, sports were held, musical and theatrical performances, public execution, and gladiatorial combat performed. The Colosseum's floors also hosted mock naval battles for public watch. Today, mass entertainment is a feature of modern humanity. So the second element of Roman civilization or contribution to the modern world is roads. Roman roads have greatly influenced our modern road construction. Some of these roads are still used even today. Example, Via Appia, a north road that connects Rome to Brindisi in southwest Italy. The highways were straight, plain, and resistant to damage. Like today's highways, these roads use the most direct route to connect cities. In fact, several of the modern roads connecting what were Roman cities have followed routes that were chosen by the Romans. The second contribution of Greek civilization to the modern world is about calendar. The Julian calendar, named after its inventor Gaius Julius Caesar, gave a root to the modern calendar, which was reformed by Papa Gregory in 1600 years later. The calendar is still being used the way it was in many Greek Orthodox churches. Our modern calendar has retained the names of the months as they were in the Julian calendar. All the months' names are derived from Latin. Example: January from Janus, god of the beginning of times. February from Februa, a Roman festival. March from Mars, the god of war. April from Aspire, meaning open, referring to the blossoming of plants in spring. May from Maya, goddess of fertility. June from Juno, goddess of women and marriage, hence the expression June bride. July from Julius Caesar himself. August from Emperor Augustus. September, as March was the first month at the time. And October, November and December. The use of calendar has remained in today's society. So the foreign contribution is in meal system. Ancient Romans invented the 3-course meal that is popular in the world today. Their meal was made up of starter, main dish and dessert. This tradition was prevalent in the empire. So the following contribution is the law. The modern world has also borrowed a lot from the Roman law. The Justinian dynasty opened the eyes of the world to the need for legal reform. These had followed the 12 tables by the ascendance of the Justinian dynasty, so steps being towards reforming the Roman law. Beginning of 528 AD, a panel of experts was assembled by the emperor to reform the law. They come up with the codex and updated the collection of laws. Later the digest and the institute were completed. All this saw the bringing to an end of the legal reforms in 534 AD. Together these writings were called the Corpus Juris Civilis, the body of civil law. They have greatly influenced the law, first in the Western world and secondly by extension to the whole world. Literature and philosophy and history, that is the another contribution of Roman civilization to the modern world, where poetry and the use of satire in verse in literature were popular in the ancient Roman Empire. Use of history to achieve nationalistic and patriotic ends was a major feature among the Roman historians' works. Like today, historians equally criticized aspects of governance or regimes they felt took away the people's liberty. The Romans respected philosophy's contribution to society. They were guided by Greek philosophical schools. The Romans spread ideas of these philosophies to the areas they controlled. Today, the world owes a lot in these 3 fields to the Romans. Even some of the books they wrote in literature, philosophy, and history have been interpreted in other languages and are still being used today. So the following contribution is art. Art was another area where the Romans have left an indelible mark. Uses of realism, idealism, and revealing of an individual character in a piece of art have their origin in ancient Rome. Today, art is dominated with these qualities. We can also not forget the idea of beautifying homes with the works of art in the modern society. This was also popularized by the Romans. Uses of frescoes and mosaic have also their roots in the ancient Rome. So the following contribution is in science and mathematics. This is an area where the world today also owes something from the Romans. Although the Romans generally left scientific research to the Greeks, these were their citizens, hence their contribution are treated as Romans. In Egypt, the Romans left the Hellenistic scientists to exchange their ideas freely. This made scientists like the astronomer, mathematician Ptolemy to come up with his theory that the earth was the center of the universe, a mistaken idea that was accepted in the Western world for nearly 1,500 years. The Roman doctor Galen made advances in the medical field. He insisted on experiment to improve and conclusion. This Merrick compiled a medical encyclopedia which summarized what was known in the field of medicine at the time. This book remained a standard text in the medical profession for more than 1,000 years. Romans were also remembered for their numbers, like 1, 2, 3 number numerals, which are used in education. In addition, the Romans popularized the use of science. They applied geography to make maps and medical knowledge to help doctors improve public health. So the last contribution is the currents and the trade. Throughout their reign, the Romans maintained a stable currents and a prosperous international trade. Stability of currents and promotion of international trade are today's still vital economic issue. So I'm thanking to all of those who are following me. I'm called Adolf, and please go to subscribe button and click on it in order to be with me and also to see the updated news and information. And if you want to know more knowledge, you can approach me by making subscribe. And also I love you, then God may protect you. Thanks.